Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Nicholas Mutinda from Nairobi branch. We are continuing with our discussion on practice of management. And today we are going to discuss on employee motivation. This is the 9th chapter and it is a very essential topic. It's a very essential topic when it comes to practice of management. Why is it essential? Why is it essential? It is essential because it is employee motivation that determines whether an organization is able to achieve its objectives. Now, look at this way. You may have the right employees, you may have the right equipment. The organization can do everything. But if the employees are not well motivated, if employees are not motivated enough, it means that they are not able to achieve their full potential. And if they are not able to achieve their full potential, then definitely it means the organization is not able to optimally utilize them, and probably it may not be able to achieve its objectives. So, employee motivation is a very key topic. It's a very key essential when it comes to ensuring that the organization is able to achieve its objectives. Now, in this topic, we are going to discuss about what we mean by motivation. What are the characteristics? What is the nature of motivation? And then wrap up the topic with the overview of theories of motivation. By the end of this topic, a learner should be able to understand the issues surrounding motivation. What do we mean by motivation? How can a manager motivate his employees? How can he able to understand the issues about motivation and to ensure that the employees are well motivated in order they exploit their full potential and hence to enable the organization to achieve its objectives. Now, we are going to start with 8.1 definition of motivation. Welcome, and if you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe. You just need to click on the subscription button there below the video and you'll have subscribed to my channel. So welcome. So we start on 9.1 definition of motivation. What do we mean by motivation? When we talk about motivation, what really do we mean? And now, when you are talking about motivation, we are simply saying ensuring that somebody has a drive from inside. There is something that is driving you towards a certain objective. There is that drive that comes from you, from inside. It's a process whereby there is an arousal, a directive, and maintaining. You are aroused to see, for instance, you are looking towards ensuring that the organization is able to achieve its objectives. So there is something that is driving you from inside to ensure that you are working towards a common objective. Now, when you are talking about motivation is the process of arousing, directing, and maintaining the behavior towards a common objective. There is arousing, directing, and maintaining. Do you have that arousing? Probably you are seated, but then you realize there is something that is driving you to wake up and do something. Probably you had lost hope, but there's something that instigates you inside arouses you from inside, instigating your inner self to work towards something. Now, there is another key word, directing. You are being directed to do something towards a common objective, towards a common agenda, towards something. You are motivated. There is something that is inside you that is making you to work towards something. Then now, the another one is maintaining the behavior. Maintaining the behavior. Let's take it for instance. You feel that you are angry. You are angry. Feel that you are angry. So, if you are angry, or you are thirsty for water. Now, motivation is, there also is, there is thirsty that is arousing you to wake up and go look for water. There is something, there is that thirsty that is driving you, that is arousing you to wake up and go look for what? For water. Now, that this thirsty now is what we are referring to, is something that is arousing you. That is arousing you. The thirsty for water. You may have probably been sitting all through. You are comfortable, but then you find there's something that is arousing you, instigating you to wake up and do something. Instigating you to wake up and do something. Now, when we talk about directing, we are simply saying, now, the arousal is to wake up and go look for water. Now, directing is directing you to a certain place where you will get water. It's directing you to get to a certain place. The water is there. And probably you have seen this, especially when you are talking about the animals. They may not know the water, but they know there's something that you have been angry for some time. You have been thirsty for water. You have been thirsty for some time. So you will be forced to wake up and then start looking for water. Now, when you're talking about motivation, is that something enables you to wake up and directs you to a common goal. Now, the third thing is what you are calling maintaining that direction, maintaining that arousal. And you have seen this in the context of the organization. You as a manager, it is your duty to arouse members of the staff, to arouse your employees to work towards a common objective. You arouse them to work. Now, you have to ensure that they are working towards a certain direction. You have to ensure that they maintain that behavior. Now, by arousing them, by directing them, and ensuring that they maintain that behavior is what we call employee motivation. Now, employees who are aroused, who are motivated, they are able to ensure that they achieve the organizational objectives. Let's take, for instance, you have seen this. A certain organization or a certain department, it had the same employees, they had the same procedures, they had probably the same equipment, but a manager joins in. And then within a very short time, we realize the productivity of that department, the productivity of that organization has increased tremendously. What has happened? It is because now the employees have been aroused. The employees are working towards a common objective. The employees are maintaining the behavior of arousal, and they are able to achieve the organizational objectives because of motivation. So motivation is very key, is very critical for an organization. Actually, it can determine whether an organization is able to achieve its objectives. Because you can have the employees there, you pay them well, you are paying them salaries at the end of the month, they are coming to the office at 8, they are leaving at 5, they are following the procedures, but still, if they are not motivated, they will not be able to achieve. They will not be able to exploit the full potential of their company, they will not be able to exploit their full potential. They will not be able to achieve the organization objectives, because irrespective of all these things, the employees are not well motivated. They are not motivated enough to do what is required of them. So it is very critical to ensure that your employees are aroused, they are working towards a common direction, and then you maintain that behavior. So in a nutshell, when we talk about motivation, motivation is the process of arousing, directing, and maintaining behavior towards a goal. As this definition suggests, motivation involves 3 components. The first component, arousal, has to do with the drive, the energy behind our actions. What is it that is behind our actions? What is it that is driving us? What is it that? Then now from there, you move to the next. The second component is the direction. Here when we are talking about direction, it involves the choice of behaviors made. Probably we might be aroused, but what is the choice? What is the direction? What is the direction? We are aroused, but what is the direction we are talking about? If you are saying, where do I go and look for water? Where do I go and look for water? And then the third element is maintaining that behavior. And probably you have seen this, because motivation may be probably positive or negative. So it is direction means the direction. Are we going towards the positive side, or are we going to the negative side? And then now we maintain that behavior. So you as a manager, you are supposed to ensure that your managers are aroused, they are moving towards the right direction, and you maintain that behavior in order for them to ensure that they are able to achieve the organizational objectives. They are able to optimally utilize their potential. And by so doing, you will be able to ensure that the organization is able to achieve their objectives. If you fail as a manager, remember when we were discussing about the functions of management, we talked about planning, we talked about organizing, we talked about staffing. Then the fourth was motivating, directing, or leading. Now, if you fail at that function of management, then definitely you have failed as a manager, and your employees are not able to optimize their full potential. And such that means that the organization is not able to achieve its objectives. So motivation is very key in organizational performance. Now, 9.2 is nature and characteristics of management. Nature Characteristics of management. Characteristics of motivation. So when we talk about motivation, what is the nature of motivation? 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 And when you talk about motivation, motivation is, number one, a psychological force. It is a psychological force. It happens in the mind. And then now, the mind is able to ensure that the body is moved. And one time I was listening to Eliud Kipchoge. And he was saying, immediately he broke the 159 challenge. Human has no limits. He was being in the field and he said he does his running by mind. He runs using his mind, not his legs. Now that was a very deep word. I run using my mind, not my legs. So it is a psychological thing. It is a psychological process, influence, psychological process, which compels the person to believe in a particular manner. So if you are able to believe that this is the right direction, I can be able to achieve this, definitely you are motivated. Because if you are not able to believe, if you are not able to convince your mind you are doing the right thing, then definitely your hands cannot do the right thing. Your hands cannot achieve that. Your legs cannot achieve that. So one of the essential nature of motivation is that it is a psychological process. It starts from the mind. Number two is that motivation is influenced by personality traits. Personality traits. What is our personality? Learning abilities. Learning abilities. Perceptions. Motivation is influenced by personality traits. What is our character? Do we have a character of perseverance? Do we have a character of winning? Do we have a character of not giving up? Do we have a character of being self-driven? That is what we are calling about personality traits. Are your employees? What is the personality traits of your employees? What have you taught them, the learning abilities? What have they learned over time? What is their perceptions about life? What is their perceptions about the work they are doing? What is their perception of the organization? Motivation is driven by those, is influenced by those. And that's why you find that organizations value organizational culture very much. Because when an employee joins the organization, they want to influence the personality by learning the abilities. That even though we face a lot of challenges, we are able to win. And look at this. You go to Equity Bank. One of the values is that they are here to help the society. They are here to help the society. That is one of the traits, one of the values, one of the drives of Equity Bank. That's why you find, even when probably they open from 8:30 to 4 p.m. So you find that at 4 p.m. there are several other, probably 20 people in the queue. You will never see the teller complaining. You will never see the teller complaining. Because according to the teller, he is helping the society. He is helping the people. Now, that is a learning ability. That is a perception that has been created. Number 3 is that highly motivated workers work more efficiently and effectively and are more productive than others. That is the nature of motivation. Highly motivated employees work efficiently, effectively, and are more productive than the others. So, based on that, ensure that your employees are highly motivated and they will be able to work efficiently and effectively. They will be able to be productive. They will be able to work under minimal supervision because they have the drive within themselves. Another key issue about motivation is that motivation originates from the needs and the wants of an individual. It originates from the needs and wants of an individual. So what are the wants? What are the needs of the individual? What are the wants or the needs of an individual? What motivates people to steal? What motivated Eliud Kipchoge to run under 1.2 the marathon under 2 hours? The need to win. People, chokoras, street children. The need to have food. The need for satisfaction. Because it originates from the needs and wants of an individual. So, if you need to win, you will be motivated to run more faster than the others. It might be you are hungry, so you need food. You are lonely, so you want company. What it originates from the needs and the wants of the people. Another thing about motivation is a process of stimulating and challenging, channelizing the energy of an individual to achieve a set goals. Stimulating, arousing. Stimulating, channelizing, giving a direction in order to achieve a certain objective. I think that we have discussed when we are talking about the definition. Another key point is that motivation plays a crucial role in determining the level of performance I discussed that. When employees are well motivated, they are able to increase their productivity. They are able to achieve the organizational objectives. So, motivation determines the level of performance of an organization. If line 1 in a certain production department is more motivated than line 2 and line 3, at the end of the day, you will realize that the production level, the performance level in line 1 is more than the others. Because the employees in line 1 are more motivated than the others. Even though they are using the same environment, even though they are using the same equipment, even though they are doing the same work, these guys are more motivated than the others. So they are able to achieve the organizational objectives more effectively. Their performance is high compared to the others. Another thing is that motivating force and degree may differ from individual to individual. Yes, that is correct. This guy may be motivated than the others. This one may be motivated than the other. Probably because of what we talked about, personality traits, learning abilities, and perceptions. Probably if you have two kinds of employees, they are working in the same department, and one employee has a perception that he is being overworked. Has a perception that he is being overworked, he is being misused, what he is paid is peanuts, is not enough. And then you find the other guy doesn't have those perceptions. Probably he sees that the salary is paid is enough. He has a perception that he has been given a favor for him for that opportunity to work in that organization. You will definitely find this guy is more motivated than the others because of the personality traits, because of the learning abilities, because of the perceptions we talked about. Right. Having talked about that, having said that, we can now look at the characteristics. Motivation is an internal feeling. One characteristic is that it is an internal feeling. Motivation. It is an internal feeling. Something that is inside. Something that is inside. You can't touch it. It is inside of you. It is a drive. Number two, motivation is related to needs. What are your needs? And these are things we'll look at when we'll be talking about the theories of motivation. The needs. What is it that you need? What is it that you require? Motivation produces goal-oriented behavior. I'm thirsty for water, so I need water. So you are motivated by thirsty to go and look for water. So you will wake up and then go towards the water point. There's a need. You are motivated towards winning a race. So you will work, you will run towards winning that race. There's a goal. So it is the goal that is coming up, enabling you to come up with a behavior goal-directed behavior, a behavior towards achieving a common objective, towards completing a certain goal. I want to pass with flying colors in the practice of management. So by so doing, you are watching videos about practice of management like this one. You are revising widely. You are attending all classes. That is a behavior, goal-oriented behavior. Attending classes, watching videos, asking questions, revising widely, reading widely. Because there is a goal, and that goal is stimulating a behavior. Then lastly, it may be, motivation may be negative, or positive. Do you have a negative energy? Do you have a positive energy? Do you have a positive incentive? Do you have a positive incentive? And when you're talking about, you see, be motivated. Negative motivation. You don't feel like working. Probably because you have not been paid your salary. Probably somebody has disrespected you, so you don't feel you are working, but you feel demotivated. You feel not to work. That is a motivation towards the negative side. Towards the negative side. All right. Now, I think that is all about nature. That is all about nature and the characteristics of motivation. Probably can look at what are the features of motivation. Features of motivation, and probably it is an internal feeling. It is a continuous activity. Yes, it is a continuous activity. It varies from one person to another. It may be positive and negative. I think they are more or less the same characteristics. Now, this is very critical. Types of motivation. Types of motivation. We have intrinsic and extrinsic. And when you are talking about intrinsic motivation, is whereby it is self-generated. It is self-generated. It is coming within you. Extrinsic, you are being motivated by external factors. It is the external factors that are bringing you to have that drive. For instance, Eliud Kipchoge was working to prove that humans have no limits. Was running the marathon under 2 hours in order to prove that humans have no limited. Now this is intrinsic. Now supposing Kipchoge was told, if you run the marathon under 2 hours, we will reward you with 500 million Kenya shillings. 500 million Kenya shillings. Now, this is what we are calling extrinsic, because it is not coming inside himself, but rather is being motivated outside the body. There are other external factors that are driving. If you go into an organization and you find that your employees are working, are exploiting their full potential in order to satisfy their inner desires, that is intrinsic motivation. But if your employees are working towards, because they have been promised, if you achieve this, you will get this. If you achieve this, you will be promoted. If you achieve this, you will get a bonus of this. Now, at that point, that is extrinsic motivation, because they are being motivated by outside factors, by something external. While intrinsic is when the drive is coming naturally from you. Is coming naturally from you. And probably you have seen this. People who are helping others and then they put in on cameras, they put on WhatsApp, they put on all those things. They go publicizing. That is not an inner drive. But where there is an inner drive, you find people are doing things and wananyamazia. Wananyamazia. Anyway, that is just by the way. That is just by the way. So we can go to the last subtopic, which is very wide. I'll be talking about the overview of theories of motivation. Overview of theories of motivation. Overview of theories of motivation, and we'll start with number 1, Herzberg two-factor theory. Herzberg inaandikwaje? R here. Herzberg two-factor theory. Two-factor theory of motivation. Herzberg two-factor theory of motivation. Now, this is a theory developed by Friedrich Herzberg. Developed by Friedrich Herzberg. What did he say? He did a research and realized that there are two factors. There are that satisfiers and dissatisfiers. There are things you find that in the context of the organization, you will find that there are factors that make your employees to be motivated. There are other factors that make your employees not to be motivated or be motivated. That is why he's talking about two-factor theory. There are things in the organization that make employees to be motivated. There are other things in the organization that make your employees not to be motivated. Now, under that context, in that context, how are managers supposed to work? What is it to be done in the workplace? The manager should identify the factor or things that lead to motivation in the workplace. And then identify on the other side factors that lead to demotivation. You identify the factors that lead to motivation and that lead to demotivation. Why are you identifying them? In order to ensure that you eliminate the demotivating factors. Eliminate. Eliminate the demotivating factors. Multiply, increase the motivating factors. Because they will determine whether the organization is able to achieve its objectives. So look at the environment, look at the organization, look at the department, identify things that motivate your employees. Are your employees motivated by respect? Employees are motivated by conducive environment. Employees are motivated by appreciation, training and development. Ensure that those motivating factors, you increase them. Ensure that the organization has these motivating factors. Eliminate the demotivating factors, and you will be able to ensure that the work environment, your employees are well motivated, and when they are well motivated, they are able to achieve their organizational objectives. And he said the two-factor theory developed a theory of motivation on the premise that human nature has two separate elements: motivators and maintenance factors. According to the theory of motivation, the items that determine job content are considered motivating factors. Now, what are these? Then the second one, he also talked about the issues about motivators being achievement, recognition, advancement, work itself, possibility of personal growth, responsibility. Are you giving people responsibility? Are you ensuring that people are able to work? Now, the next point, the next theory is what we call Maslow needs theory. Maslow need theory. Maslow hierarchy of needs. This was developed by Maslow, and he came up with, he said that needs are divided into 5. Here we have psychological, physiological needs, security or safety, social needs, esteem needs, self-actualization. So when we are talking about the Maslow hierarchy of needs, he said that you identify the needs of the people, you identify the needs of the managers, you identify the needs of the employees, and you realize that they are grouped into 5. An employee will join the organization because he wants just something to get a salary and be able to provide for his food need, for shelter, for clothing, physiological needs. He needs some survival. He needs just to survive. That is why he's joining the organization. As long as he's paid sustenance salary, he can work for the organization because he's more driven by sociological, physiological needs. Now, one of the things you have to realize is that under Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there is no way you can skip from 1, you go to 3. No. They happen gradually. This is the lowest level. After you have satisfied the physiological needs, you will move to the next cadre of security. After you are satisfied with security, you will move to the next one. After you have satisfied with the social needs, you will move to the next one. So it happens gradually. It happens gradually. You move from one level to the next. So here we are talking about, in the context, is what we call food, shelter, and clothing. Here we are talking about security. Are you safe? Are you secure? Are you protected? When we talk about social needs, the need to belong. The need to belong. Now, look at this way. When you talk about in the context of the organization, in physiological needs, I have explained, it means that the employee just needs a salary to be able to get food, shelter, and clothing. Sustenance salary. Now, after he has gotten sustenance salary, he will require the next level needs. He will move to the next level. And there will be more how safe am I in the work environment? Am I safe? Are the equipments safe? Do I have safety at the work environment? Remember, when he was here, he did not require those because he just needed sustenance. Now he's looking at what is the job security of the work I'm doing? What is the safety of the environment I'm working in? Now, we move to the next level. He has gotten some salary. He is able to feed his family. He's able to come to work. He's able to feed himself, to clothe himself. He has moved here. He has ensured that there's safety in the workplace. Now, he will move to the next one, social needs. He wants to belong. He wants to associate with his worker, his colleagues. He wants to have teamwork, to get some time to relax with his employees. And that's why you find now at this level, managers should provide for relaxation periods. Register employees to clubs. Have team engagement forums, team building platforms. Because at that level, they are here. That level, they are the social needs. That level, they are the social needs. Probably your managers can help ensure that the satisfaction of this important. Many companies provide health club. Here now, they provide health club. They provide health club. To ensure that their people can be able to interact. Teamwork, feel like you are working in a group. Now, after that, we move now to the extreme. To the extreme. And now when we are talking about the extreme is, do you value your employees? Do you appreciate your employees? And here is now appreciation. Respect. All that, because they already have their salary. They are not concerned about the food, the shelter, and the clothing. They are not concerned about the security. They know that they have job security. They cannot be sacked. And now they have teams. There is need. They belong. They work as a team. They are in health clubs. Now, esteem. How do you appreciate them? Do you have reserved parkings? Do you give them leave? Do you give them time? How are they appreciated? Probably somebody comes up with an innovation. It may not require some money, but a letter of appreciation. This is the best employee this month. That is what we are talking about, esteem, to feel worthy. Is your organization providing that? Is your organization providing that? Because it will be, by providing that, the employees will be able to feel appreciated. And then the next one, the last one, is what we call self-actualization. Self-actualization is whereby now you feel that you are satisfied. You are satisfied. Self-actualization. The employees now feels he has achieved everything. He wants just to ensure that he can help the organization to achieve. Self-actualization. Self-actualization. Potential for continued growth and individual development. What are those continuous development? And you have seen this. Employees leave. Probably they were earning 200,000. But they move to probably because now they have the money, but they don't feel that as if they have made it. Money is not their determining factor. It is self-actualization to help the people, to help the organization, to ensure that the organization is achieving its objective, to ensure that the organization is helping the society, to ensure that the organization is contributing to the welfare of the society. So if an employee does not feel that he is at that main matrix, he may leave. He may leave. Now, I think that is all about Maslow's needs. Now we go to the third one, where we go, Grigory's theory of X and Y. Grigory's theory of X and Y. Theory of X and Y. Now, this was a theory that developed by Grigory. Grigos, not Grigory. Grigos. Which specifies managers in two aspects, or management in two aspects. Douglas classified basic assumptions, whereby theory Y, theory X is traditional, theory Y is modern. Here you are using traditional beliefs. Such that you believe people can only achieve if they are forced to. Employees do not like their work, so they must be forced to work. Employees cannot work on their own, so they must be supervised. They must be ordered around. We are paying them. They are the ones benefiting from the organization. Traditional beliefs, traditional aspects of doing things. You see them as a liability to the organization. You see them as objects. Now, under theory Y is that employees are participators in organizational growth. You see them as assets. You see them that as they can work under minimum supervision. You see employees having a self-drive. You see the employees having a self-drive. Now, these are the two ends. And you can imagine, you are in a department, or you are in probably a line of production. This guy is believing on theory Y, is in line 1, and the other one is believing in theory Y, X, and is in the second one. You can see how that work environment will be. You can see how those different work environments will be. Because the guy at theory X thinks that employees dislike work. Think that employees must be coerced, must be controlled and threatened for them to achieve. Think that employees avoid responsibilities. And you have seen this. Think that employees cannot make their own decisions. While on the other And it thinks that employees are assets. They can work without under minimum supervision. They don't need external control. Now, this is the right way of looking at the workplace. This is the right way. That in the current period, employees are not liabilities. They are assets to the organization. They can work under minimum supervision. They can work with self-drive. They don't need to be coerced. They don't need to be threatened. They don't need for them to be supervised in order for them to achieve. They can do it on their own. They are assets to the organization. And you find that managers who adopt this kind of motivation, this kind of theory of why, they are able to achieve more. Because you are trying to ensure that the employees have the self-drive. Remember, theory X is trying on extrinsic, because they think that only outside force can drive the employees to work. But this is why you are trying to ensure that the employees are working on their own. The employees are working on their own. Employees love work. Employees love work. And the theory why employees love work, they are self-directed, they are accepted and seek responsibilities. They have innovative spirits. They have innovative spirit. I think we have discussed that. Right. Now, I think there is nothing else. All these other things we have talked about. Now, theory Y is trying to ensure that he gets commitment from the employees. He gets commitment from the employees. And when he is able to get commitment from the employees are given a leeway to work on their own. As long as he gets that commitment, the employees are able to work on their own. Now, probably very quickly we can look at expectancy theory. So when we are talking about expectancy, we are simply talking about expecting something in return. Expecting something in return. Now, this was a theory developed by Victor Froome. Expectancy theory. Developed by Victor Froome. And it is based on that there will be always expectancy of certain reward. People will choose behaviors in expectancy of something. You choose to revise widely in expecting to pass exams with flying colors. You are expecting something in return of the behavior you're doing. If I work faithfully in this organization, I'm expecting a promotion. If I revise, I'm expecting to pass the exams. If the organization, if we achieve our targets, we are expecting a pay rise, a pay hike. There is a drive guiding a certain behavior because we are expecting a certain reward. According to Victor, there are several behaviors that we can choose. But we choose the behavior because of a certain reward. We choose a particular behavior because there is an expectancy of a reward. There is something we are expecting in return. Expectancy behavior. There is something that is motivating us. The reward. I will work very hard. I will train very hard. I will run very hard because I expect to win the race. There is something that is motivating you, and the motivation is being driven by the expectancy of something in return. Look at a football team. It is playing very hard. It is working very hard. It is defending very hard, trying to score goals because they expect to win a cup. There is something that you are expecting. There is something that you are expecting in return. So, what are your employees expecting in return? What are your employees expecting in return? Because if there is an expectancy, then they will work towards that. Do you have training opportunities? Do you have bonuses? What is the end result? What are the rewards in the workplace? Remember, we are talking about employee motivation. So what should your employees expect in return of being motivated, of working very hard, of working smart, of being innovative? What is it that they should expect at the end of it? Because that will drive them towards a certain behavior. If an employee is faithful in the course of the organization, what should he expect at the end of it? Because if, for instance, you do your promotion based on nepotism, why should your employees work very hard? But if opportunities are given on meritocracy, this guy has worked faithfully for this organization. He has been able, he was the best performer, so we promote him. So there is an expectancy. But if that is not there, how do you expect your employees to work towards a common objective? How do you expect your employees to be motivated if they are not expecting anything? How do you expect them? Anyway, that is all about employee motivation. That is all about employee motivation. That is all about employee motivation. If you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly click the subscription button there below the video, and you'll be able to get more videos of this. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Bye.